Hello, my name is Parker Chapman, and I will be going over Chapter 19, which is a case study that involves the Los Angeles Police Department and representatives from the Los Angeles Police Protective League. Basically, it's an ongoing discussion about whether or not the command staff of the department should use a series of evaluation techniques to evaluate their officers' performance on the street. So basically, throughout the 1960s and 1970s, the Los Angeles Police Department dealt with many civil rights cases, civil rights issues, and civil rights litigation. Different police chiefs struggled to find a way to work with the communities, but overall it was more of an argument between city council and the various police chiefs. In the 1990s, after Rodney King, LA Police Department Chief Bernard C. Parks conducted a complete overhaul of the LAPD. And his first idea was to use what became known as a community policing model for the department. His main idea was that individual officer accountability would ultimately lead to the community policing model being successful. But in order to hold individual officers accountable, he argued that there needed to be evaluation criteria. So his command staff came up with 11 categories that included things like issuing traffic tickets, field interviews, stop and frisk, measuring time to call for service, training, and that sort of thing. And it met with great resistance. The case goes into detail. A representative from the command staff, which was a guy named Officer Kalishman, met with another officer named Officer Morin, who represented the Los Angeles Police Protective League. Kalishman argued that the performance measure would be good for the department. He argued that it wasn't anything wrong with it. He pointed out that many of the private sectors had gone to personnel evaluation for promotion and special teams and that sort of thing. He also argued that sector sergeants had become lazy, and the evaluation criteria was basically a way to ensure that officers were doing their job. Officer Morin, who was with the Los Angeles Protective League, was quick to point out that the Supreme Court ruled it unconstitutional to create quotas, and he said that measuring a performance based on tickets, field interviews, stop and frisk, traffic stops, that sort of thing, was a legal version of a quota. He also pointed out that officers would not work together, and in fact, they would work against each other for promotion and all that kind of stuff. And finally, he argued that numbers and data were pretty counterproductive to the community policing model. Overall, they both had good points. I think this whole issue could have been resolved if the command staff would have reached out to street officers or officers on the street and said, hey, we are establishing criteria, but we would like your input on what is being measured. And then finally, in conclusion, I don't think it's an issue of officers being lazy or low morale. I think the LAPD needs to look at the people that they promote, that first line supervision. It shouldn't be up to a captain to determine whether or not someone is being lazy or productive. The first line supervisor should be the one to pass that knowledge forward.